Hi students, I believe the screen is visible today. So students, now as I told you, now currently I am teaching you with the question types, and this Saturday you will be getting a mock exam, which is a 3 hours mock, which you have to do it by your own. Now students, mock number 3, FLATHALL. Now if you observe this question, Pasan Fernando has sent you the following mail, the gym proposal at PBSA. Now, these are hypothetical situations that we are effectively thinking. So there is a high demand for gym. Since students who are staying in PBSA currently go out for a private gym. Currently, we are not providing this facility, but our competitors are providing this facility. As per the discussion with the management, I was able to understand that this can be a good service as well. Also, as per regulation, since there is no one permanently staying in the gym, we can provide this service to outsiders as well. Now, students, here you have to be very careful because we can give this service to outsiders as well. Now, according to the rules, only students can come for PBSA. Correct, no students? But in this case, for the gym, you can also give it to a third party also. That means outsiders can come also. Please be kind enough to refer the reference material. Now, the requirement here is I need your response on the following. Firstly, please be kind enough to discuss how target costing can be used to determine a price for the gym membership. Now, they are asking you to use target costing. Now, here again, students, the technical content, target costing, but the approach is not just really writing target costing, but how target costing can be used for pricing for gym membership. Secondly, suppose we are planning to implement this project, discuss the financing decisions to fund the project and the impact to the WACC. So you have two questions within this because you see, one is the financing decision and the other one, students, they are effectively asking is what students, impact to the WACC. So can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are able to understand the breakdown of the question, students? If you are able to understand the breakdown of the question, I believe it is very clear. Reference material. The gym service can be a great initiative since students are generally preferring to going on the gym as well. Therefore, in the case, if we have a gym service, this can add value and additional revenue as well. Also, the gym service can be provided to outsiders also. And it is very much clear that the business will be able to have a better understanding of the model also. Step by step, they will learn it. Also, current point of focus is to understand the pricing strategy that we have to follow, and the management is requested to have target costing also. Therefore, in that case, we are able to understand the competitive price ranges as per the market conditions. Also, suppose if we are following the business projects, there needs to be an investment fund, and the management has requested whether you are able to provide a suggestion on the investment that is needed, the impact also on the WACC. So students, a summary. Now, once you read the question, summarize it in your mind. The summary is we are going to start a gym. That is very clear. And the requirement is very clear that in order to start a gym, we effectively need to make sure we need a target costing to get the price for the gym membership. And also the financing decision is also important as well, and the impact to the WACC. So students, I will just write down here mock number 3 answer so that it will be very easy for you. So in this, I'll write down the first heading, target costing for the gym membership price. So, or I can say gym membership fee. Fee will be a better term. And students, they are only giving 40%. So I'll write down here 40%. And I told you the golden rule, use headings. Suppose we are planning to implement this project, discuss the financing decisions to fund the project and impact on WACC. So I'll write down here financing decisions to fund the project. Financing decisions to what students? Fund the project. And then students, impact on WACC. Impact on what students? WACC. Now in the financing decisions to fund the project, I can effectively give around 40%. And the impact of WACC, I will give you 20%. Now this was just a judgmental point of view, students, because if you observe, impact on WACC is generally less than the first one. So students, now I think my heading has been structured well. So initially what I wanted to write is target costing as a heading, so that it will be very easy for the examiner to understand that I have some idea about what is target costing. So I'll write down here target costing is a model that is used to determine the cost of the product based on target selling price and target profit margin. For instance, target selling price is the price the customers are willing to pay, which can be obtained through a market survey. Also, the target profit margin is generally the profit the company expects to keep in the target selling price. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you in the chat box, students, if you are clear with this? Can I get a why in the chat box, students? Are you clear with this? So I'll give you a small mathematical explanation, but in the exam, no need. No need to write the mathematical explanation. I'll just tell you, students. Now, let's assume you want to develop a mobile phone, okay? A budget mobile phone. So in the market, they are effectively saying, customers are saying they want a mobile phone for a budget of $500. This was taken out from the customer data. So this we call it as the target selling price. And what we generally do is, students, we have a profit. Now, if we are going to sell it at $500, so let's keep a 10% profit. So of this, we are getting a $50. And this we call it as target profit margin. Target what, students? Target profit margin. Target profit margin. And then, students, I can effectively say the balance we call it as target cost. So target cost in this case is effectively $450. So students, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? Now this is a mechanism that is done. Now the problem with this mechanism can be quality, because students, we are just going with the price customers are willing to pay. But if the customers are willing to pay a lower price, the quality compromisation is there. Are you understanding that, students? Now, what happened in India was Tata. Now, students, Tata only applied this model. And in what happened to Tata was very simple. Now, what happened to Tata? Tata, you observe, students, they started a car called Tata Nano. Correct, no, students? Tata Nano. Now, my question to the students is, now, Tata Nano was cheap, but the issue came from the quality compromise. Later, again, the same people who said they wanted a cheaper car also said, no, it's better to pay some extra money and go for a better car. So are you clear with the target costing concept? Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students? So now this is the first heading. And this is not required. So what I will do, I'll write it in the chat box, not required, not required. This is not required, students, not required in the exam. When you're going for the exam, don't write these things, but just to have an idea. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, the next thing, students, after this target costing, I will write down the next one is GIM market analysis. GIM market analysis. Now, this is very critical because we are taking data from the market. So we have to understand initially, so I'm going to make it very easier for you all. Initially, the company needs to estimate the market participants and their services provided to the members and the price they are charging. Now, this is very, very important and very, very essential also. So in that case, I can continue this. So I can say, therefore, there can be different ranges of GIM, different ranges of GIM. Premium GIM with AC and other washroom facilities. Also, there can be economical gyms as well. So in that case, there can be a market comparison which can provide what are the basic needs and what are the wants that members need. So that is the first thing, students, because gym market analysis. Now, the next one. Once you understand the market analysis, the next one. Student preferences and their budget. Now, if you observe the gym market, it is not only for students. Gym market is for everyone in the market. Now, we have to quickly identify our target audience because our target audience in this case is students and the balance can be outsiders. Are you understanding that, students? Now, I will write down here the target audience in this situation is students, are students. That is correct. Therefore, they may have their preferences as well, such as the equipments they need and also the variety as well. Secondly, they may have a challenge where they are more concerned about budget as well. For instance, since they are dependent on parents' funding, they may not have the capacity to have a premium fee payment for a gym. This can be the point at which we can determine the target selling price. Full stop. So I believe this is very clear. Now, target cost. The biggest advantage of FLATHALL is that they don't have rental costs and it is their own building. And also, since students may need some assistance, there can be trainers recruited as well. Based on this, there can be a better cost estimation, and considering the areas which are not used, this can be a better solutions to make up the vacant area. Stop. And the last one I can say, pilot test and implementation. The gym can be initially started in one PBSA, and then later gym experiences can be documented and standardized, and eventually this can be embedded into FLATHALL PBSAs. Full stop. Students, are you clear with this target costing answer? Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are clear with this target costing answer? Because that is very, very, very important and essential. So any questions you like to ask, you can ask me, students, but are you fine with this target costing point of view? So this is the answer that we are writing for the target costing. I believe everyone is clear with this. So can I go to the financing decision? Yeah. So students, I'll write down here financing decision. I'll write down here financial sources, a basic heading. Generally, the financial sources are debt, equity, and retained earnings. In most cases, companies use debt funding since the interest rates are lower. And also, in certain projects, there are volatility. Volatility means now certain businesses, no volatility, like rental business. But in certain business, there are volatility. It can go up and go down. Therefore, the companies prefer equity so that the dividend can be adjusted as per the profits. And in some cases where the company has excess free cash flow, which is the cash flow after dividends and asset investments, this can be used. Now, this is the basic introduction. So I'll write down here debt source. For FLATHALL, the gearing ratio is 27.62%. We calculated this. Therefore, the company has sufficient cash flow to sufficient borrowing capacity to invest in the gym. And since there are very few investment needed, example, only gym equipments and basic interior changes to the building, the investment value can be assumed to be lower. So that is also fine now, students. So I'll just mention here. So debt can be easily used as well. That is also done. That is also done. Now the next one, equity source. FLATHALL can go for a rights issue and raise funds. But in that case, there can be a situation where the company needs to ensure there is a proper understanding of the returns to be paid. For instance, the dividend payout may be higher than the interest amount. And since gym is a low return project, not a high return project, the low return project, practically paying high dividends may not be viable. Retain earnings. FLATHALL has a strong cash flow since students pay deposits and generally these fundings can be used for gym as well. Therefore, in that case, the company may have a better application of this fund as well, and therefore cash flow that is available can be used as well. Full stop. Any questions you like to ask, you can ask me, students. But are you fine with this, students? The discussion element of the funds we have. Can I get a Y in the chat box, students, if you are okay with this, students? Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students, if you are okay with this? And the last one is the WACC. Now, students, I'll just write it down so that it will be easier. So, impact on WACC. The WACC is the return paid to the sources of fund. That is the average return paid for debt and equity capitals. Correct now, students? That is the WACC. in this case, the gym is a low risk business since we are starting in our premises. Therefore, the capital investment is very minimal, and also there are situations where the company will have to ensure there is a very few equipment investments only. Therefore, the business risk is less. Considering the financial risk, still the investment funds are lower. Therefore, either debt or equity, there will be a minimalistic effect only. Students, I believe that is also clear for you all. Therefore, in that case, we can make sure that the impact on WACC is very minimal since the nature of investment is very much lower. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you're fine? So this is the conclusion. Are you okay with this, students? Can I get a confirmation? So I'll just write down here, business risk impact. And this one I can say here, financial risk. Because these are the two risks that affects the WACC. One is the business risk and the other one is the financial risk. Are you all okay with this, students? Can I get a confirmation? So can we go to the next question, students? Can we go to the next question, that is the mock number 4? Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? If you're okay with this, let's go to the mock number 4. Yeah. So students, the next question. Now, this is a good question, a business type of question. So can we start working on this? Of course, we can start working on this. Now, observe the question clearly. Pasan Fernando has sent you the following mail. Student Forum is a website that is generally available to all students. In this website, we can observe reviews and ratings of university, colleges, and PBSAs as well. This is generally an open forum. Therefore, every student has the freedom of speech to express their point of view. I have attached the review of the FLATHALL in the open forum, and I need you to have an understanding as well. Firstly, discuss the impact to the business of FLATHALL due to this review. So I'll just write down the heading first. Impact to the business of this review. That is one thing, just for your idea. And then discuss what are the possible future digital strategies we can adopt in this case. Discussion of possible future digital strategies that can be implemented. Fine, now students, I believe this is very practical. This is very clear also. Now, reference material, students. The Students Forum online community is the largest network for the students to share their opinions and their experiences in the colleges and PBSA. As per the website, this is the current feedback rating for FLATHALL. A room, it is 4 star out of 5. Cleanliness is 3 out of 5. Facilities 3 out of 5. Value for money 3 out of 5. Now there is one review. If there is some other accommodation facility near college, I may opt for that. The only reason I stay here is 20 minutes walking distance, too expensive for the money to be paid. This has been the oral review, and please be kind enough to provide your opinion as well. Also, we have to be updated as soon as possible. Therefore, in that case, we have to have a digital strategy as well in order to perform well. So please, can you guide us with digital strategy process that can be improvised? That means what are the digital tools we can use in the future to make sure we get informations very much in advance. Now, students, if you observe this, be very careful. Now, in general situation, if the market has more competition, I think the impact to the business is very high if you observe. But in this case, students, you observe PBSA is something that is exclusive to students, and it is very close to the universities also. Correct, no, students? Can I get a Y in the chat box? So what have to understand in this case is, students, there may be very few feedbacks, but still considering the current market position, because there are very, very few substitutes like private residences. And if you see, students, the hall of residence, anyway, we can't get it. The reason is anyway, it is full. So are you understanding how this functions, students? Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are getting that thinking aspect here? Because if you observe a student, general answer will be, we have to improve, we have to improve. Correct. You have to improve. There is no other doubts. But a manager will always say like this, because if we want to improve, we have to get money. And the board of directors needs to get money from the shareholders. It's not easy. So we have to make sure the shareholders are getting their value for return also. So in that case, if you consider these are fair enough, but still it is very challenging. Now, students, let's come to a business thinking aspect. Honestly speaking, students, if you're having something around 3 to 4 itself is a good rating in today's world. Because students, if you observe, even the big companies are having very much around 3 to 4. That's how it is going in today's terms. Because how much ever the things are there, customers are nowadays not satisfied with what they have. So students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are clear with this? Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students, if you are fine with that? Yeah, excellent. So students, now what I'm going to do is I'll just teach you on the thinking. So I'll write down here a note. Now this question is the question that comes in the examination where students are asked to think like a manager. Note, in such questions, the examiner expects the student to think. In such questions, the examiner expects the students to think and provide answers as per pre-scene. Answers as per pre-scene. Okay, impact on business review. So now students, if you observe in this case, general situation. So can I write down here general situation? That's the first point of view. So shall we work on this? Of course. Considering the business situation, the review is average. Therefore, in general situation, immediate actions are necessary in order to make sure the cleanliness, room, value for money, are improvised. And internal controls needs to be robust in general situation. In general situation. Then students, specific to FLATHALL. Now can we write down like this? Specific to what students? FLATHALL. Students, now do you feel the examiner gets the idea that the student can distinguish general situation, specific to FLATHALL? Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students? Are you understanding the distinguishing points? Because general situation, yes, it's a trap. It's a trap from the examiner. He wants the students to go in a general answer so that he can play with your results. But in this case, when you give him the indication in general situation, we have to be strict everything, but specific to the FLATHALL. In this case, students are generally based on PBSA. And it is a mandatory requirement for residential students. Correct, no, students? That is also very clear. In that case, the students are supposed to stay. And considering the industry norm, there are no direct competitors within the range. Therefore, 3-star may be average, but considering the situation, it is good. Since we don't provide services to clean the room, and it is done by the students. In that case, it is already communicated. It is already communicated. It is already what, students? Communicated. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Because it's already communicated. And in case, if additional services are needed, the students may be expected, the students will be expected to pay more, to pay more, to pay more. I believe that is very clear. Now, students, the next thing, market situation. So can I write down the next one here, students? Market situation. Now, this is also an important thing that you have to keep in mind. Now, 3-star rating they have given, but we have to compare how is the market situation. Is anyone extremely far behind us or extremely far above us? We have to understand. PBSA market feedback 2 can be obtained from the website of Students Forum. And basically, it may too have the same issue, since the PBSA have a budget constraint. Therefore, they may not be able to provide superior quality value. Superior quality value. The last one I can say, finally, this business model is only for graduation time period of 3 years. Therefore, the success is dependent based on the convenience of the location only. And since all the basic facilities like water, electricity is provided, in that case, the PBSA businesses, including FLATHALL, is performing well. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are fine with this? Can I get a Y in the chat box, students? Are you understanding how the distinguishing points have been done? Excellent. Thank you very much. Now, students, discussion of possible future digital strategies that can be improvised. Now, students, I can effectively write down here the mobile app for FLATHALL. There can be mobile app for FLATHALL. In that case, the students can effectively launch complaints directly. And it can be reviewed as well by the student. For instance, we can get live feedback from the students. This will encourage the students to share positive reviews as well, since it is faster and efficient. Full stop. And then students, after the mobile app for the FLATHALL students, another thing we can effectively do is using the app continuously ask for feedbacks and improvement. And also, we can provide promo codes where the students can effectively refer to their friends as well. In that case, it will be a major development as well. Also, the app can be used for customized services such as room service, where students can pay separately if they need such additional services. And also, this can effectively help FLATHALL to have a direct relationship or a direct contact with the students. Full stop. Are you all fine with this, students? This is just a question I just wanted to write down, but this is the answer for this. Students, this is a good question. Just keep in mind this area on distinguishing general situation specific to FLATHALL. That's the learning outcome that we get it. Because in general situation, students coming from OCS, they may always go for the general situation answer. Students, question and answer session, I'll come to you all. So I'll start from Bedwell. Any questions for the day? Damika, any questions for the day? Mr. Koze, any questions for the day? Petronella, any questions for the day? Sibusuti, any questions for the day? Mr. Srini, any questions for the day? Mr. Udar, any questions for the day?
So all good.
Thank you. So students, understand it well. This Saturday you have a mock paper, students. Again, students, don't worry. Just think like a manager and do it by yourself. Definitely you will do it well. And the objective is to make sure you improve your typing speed and your 3 hours focus. So see you on our Saturday class, 9:30 p.m. Thank you very much, students. Good night, everyone. Timing, anytime you can do it. Anytime you can do it. Deadline will be Monday. Thank you, students.